I was on a mundane Thursday evening, pulling warm laundry from the dryer when everything changed. "Whose are these?" I muttered, holding up a pair of black gold-toe dress socks, size 12, 13. They were tangled in our cream-colored sheets like evidence at a crime scene. I wore Hanes, size 9, 10. Always had. My heart started that slow, heavy thud you get when your subconscious knows something your mind hasn't accepted yet. I called upstairs trying to keep my voice steady. "Hey, Melissa. Found some socks that aren't mine." The silence lasted too long. Then, footsteps on the stairs. She appeared in the doorway, took one look at what I was holding, and her face drained of color. That's when I knew. "Those are yours, silly," she said, forcing a laugh that sounded like breaking glass. "Must have gotten mixed up in the wash." "Melissa." I held them up higher. "These are 3 sizes too big, and I don't own gold-toe anything." "Maybe they're from your gym bag? You know how things get mixed up at the gym." "Stop." My voice came out sharper than intended. "Just stop. Whose socks are these?" She opened her mouth, closed it, then tried again. "Chris, you're being paranoid over nothing." "Am I?" I dropped the laundry basket, socks still clenched in my fist. "Because you look like you're about to throw up." The search something primal took over. I pushed past her, taking the stairs 2 at a time. She followed, her voice rising with panic. "Chris, what are you doing? Chris!" I hit our bedroom like a hurricane, yanked open her nightstand drawer. My hand found it immediately cold metal, heavy. A man's Rolex, the kind I could never afford. "I can explain." "Don't!" I was already at the closet, throwing her dresses aside. There, a burgundy silk tie hanging between her blouses like it belonged there. "How long, Melissa?" She was crying now, mascara running. "It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think." I pulled out my phone, started photographing everything. The socks, the watch, the tie. My hands were steady even though my world was exploding. Size 12 gold toe, Rolex Submariner, Hermes tie. This isn't some drunk mistake. He's been living here. "Chris, please, let me." "Who is he?" The words ripped out of me. I threw the socks at her feet where they landed like a gauntlet. 23 years of marriage reduced to foreign laundry on our bedroom floor. She broke, collapsed onto the bed we'd shared for over 2 decades. "Nathan," she whispered. "It's Nathan from work." The name hit like a physical blow. Nathan. Nathan Ross. The one who came to Emma's graduation party? Whose wife Sarah just had their 3rd kid? Her silence was all the confirmation I needed. In our bed? My voice was barely human. In our daughter's childhood home? "She's in college, Chris. She doesn't live here anymore." "That's your defense? That Emma's away, so it's fine to bring Nathan here?" I felt dissociated from my body, watching myself move with terrifying clarity. Every action felt predetermined, like I was following a script written by rage and necessity. "Get out." "What?" "Get out of my house. Now." "You can't just watch me." I went back to the closet, started pulling her clothes off hangers. Designer pieces she'd insisted we couldn't afford, but somehow kept appearing. Now I knew who'd been funding her wardrobe upgrades. "This is my house, too." "No." I laughed, and it sounded unhinged even to me. "This is my house. My name on the deed. My mortgage payments for 15 years while you found yourself through yoga certifications and failed Etsy stores." I grabbed her suitcase from the top shelf, the Louis Vuitton one she'd bought last month on sale. Started stuffing clothes in with no care for wrinkles or organization. Call Nathan. Tell him you need a place to stay. Maybe Sarah will make up the guest room for you. Chris, you're being irrational. Irrational? I held up the Rolex. There's a $10,000 watch in my nightstand that isn't mine. You want to talk about rational? The only irrational thing is that I haven't thrown it through the window. I tossed it in her suitcase instead. It landed on a silk blouse with a satisfying thud. Give it back to him. Or pawn it. I don't care. The locksmith. I pulled out my phone, fingers flying across the screen. Portland Emergency Locksmith 24 hours. I searched while Melissa begged behind me. A1 Locks. How can I help you? I need every lock in my house changed. Tonight. I'll pay triple for immediate service. Sir, we can have someone there in 2 hours. 1 hour, and I'll pay quadruple. We'll be there in 45 minutes. I hung up and called my lawyer next. Jim Peterson had handled my business contracts for years. Never thought I'd need him for this. Jim? Chris Walker. I just found another man's belongings in my bed. I need divorce papers drawn up. Chris, it's 8:30 at night. I'll pay emergency rates. I want her served tomorrow. At her workplace. That's aggressive. Maybe we should talk about this when you're calmer. Jim, I'm holding another man's socks that I found in my marital bed. I will never be calmer than I am right now. Can you do it, or should I call Steinberg? I'll have them ready. Chris, I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Be thorough. The documentation. I made Melissa pack while I watched, ensuring she only took what was hers. My phone captured everything. Her tears, the men's items, her guilty devastation. Every photo felt like building a wall between my old life and whatever came next. 23 years, Chris. You're really throwing away 23 years? No. I picked up Nathan's tie, silk sliding through my fingers like water. You threw it away. Every time you let him in our house, our bed, every lie you told me. It just happened. No. I was surprised how calm I sounded. Falling is something that just happens. This, bringing him here, keeping his things here, these are choices. Hundreds of choices. She dragged her suitcase downstairs. I noticed she'd taken only one. Good. She could come back for the rest with supervision. Where am I supposed to go? Nathan has a nice house in Lake Oswego, 4 bedrooms, pool. I remember because you couldn't stop talking about it after the company picnic. His wife is about to find out why her husband's socks are in my laundry. In fact, I pulled out my phone again. No! Melissa lunged for it, but I sidestepped easily. Yes. I found Sarah Ross on Facebook. We were friends because of company events. Her latest post was about baby Marcus sleeping through the night for the first time. I typed, Sarah, I'm sorry to message you like this. I just found your husband's watch and clothing in my bedroom. Nathan and my wife Melissa have been having an affair. You deserve to know. I attached the photos. Sent. You vindictive bastard, Melissa screamed. Vindictive? I pocketed my phone. Vindictive would be sending this to your whole office. This is courtesy. The lock change. The locksmith arrived in 35 minutes. A young guy named Derek who looked like he'd seen this scene before. Every lock, I told him, handing over cash. Doors, garage, side gate, and I need the garage door codes changed. You got it, boss. Melissa stood by her car, fully understanding hitting her. You're changing the locks while I'm still here? He'll be done before you reach Nathan's house. I turned to Derek. How long? For everything? 2 hours, maybe less. Perfect. The neighbors were watching from windows. Bob Peterson from across the street came out to water his lawn at 9 p.m. I didn't care. Let them watch. Let them gossip. They'd probably known before I did anyway. Neighbors always know. I need my laptop, Melissa called from the driveway. My jewelry! My medications! Should have packed better. Lawyer will arrange supervised retrieval. You can't do this. I can and I did. Now get off my property before I call the police for trespassing. Trespassing? This is my home. Was, past tense, like our marriage. My phone buzzed. Sarah Ross had seen the message. Then another buzz, and another. She was responding with a fury that matched my own. Oh God, Melissa looked at her phone. She's messaging me. Better answer. You two have a lot to discuss. Compare notes. Maybe share custody of Nathan. The immediate aftermath. By 11 p.m., every lock was changed. Security system codes were reset. Melissa was blocked on every platform. Nathan's wife had posted a scorched earth Facebook status divorce papers were being expedited. My daughter Emma had called 15 times. I finally answered Emma's call. Dad, what's happening? Mom's texting me that you've gone crazy. Emma, honey, I found another man's belongings in the house. Your mother's been having an affair. Silence. Then, Nathan from her work? My blood froze. You knew? I suspected. Last time I was home, I saw his car leaving early one morning. Mom said he dropped off work files. And you didn't tell me? I hoped I was wrong. Dad, I'm so sorry. It's not your fault, sweetheart. None of this is your fault. Is Mom really locked out? Yes. Good. That surprised me. Emma. No, Dad. Good. She made her choice. Are you okay? I will be. I'm driving home tomorrow. You have classes? Screw classes. My dad needs me. After we hung up, I sat in the living room, staring at the wedding photo on the mantle. We looked so young, so certain. I wondered when exactly we'd become strangers. When had I become the man who got cheated on in his own home? The morning after. At 6:17 a.m., the new doorbell rang. The video showed Melissa, looking haggard, still in yesterday's clothes. Chris, please, I need clothes for work. I spoke through the intercom. Should have packed better. You can't do this. I have a presentation today. Not my problem. Ask Nathan to buy you something. He seems generous with gifts. I slept in my car. Then you should have gone to Nathan's. His wife changed their locks too. I almost laughed. Almost. Karma's efficient, isn't it? Chris, please, this is insane. Let's talk like adults. Adults don't cheat. Adults don't lie for... How long, Melissa? How long has this been going on? Silence. That's what I thought. Goodbye, Melissa. I'll call the police. Please do. Explain to them how you need to break into a house you don't own to retrieve items after admitting to adultery. I'll wait. She screamed at the camera. I saved the video. My lawyer would want it. By 8 a.m. I was at work, trying to pretend my world hadn't exploded. My assistant, Janet, took one look at me and closed my office door. What happened? Found another man's socks in my laundry. Oh, honey. She went to the break room and came back with coffee that she'd definitely spiked with something from her desk drawer. How bad? Changed the locks while she was still packing. Good for you. My ex-husband, I gave him 3 months to move out. Know what happened? He moved his girlfriend in for those 3 months. Said I couldn't kick them both out since I'd given him time. What did you do? Burned his vintage baseball card collection. Accidentally, while trying to light a romantic candle. Janet, you're terrifying. You need to be terrifying right now, Chris. Nice guys get walked on, literally in your case. In their own beds. The workplace drama. At 2:47 p.m., Jim called. She's been served. It didn't go well. Define didn't go well. Security was called. Apparently, Nathan was also served by his wife's attorney at the same time. In the same conference room. During a board meeting. You're kidding. Sarah Ross has style. She hired Marcia Steinberg. Marcia Steinberg was known as the she-wolf of Portland divorces. She'd once gotten a client the husband's vintage car collection, his boat, and his mistress's engagement ring in the settlement. That's going to be ugly, I said. For Nathan. Sarah also sent an email to their entire company with photos of the evidence you provided. CC'd the board of directors. Jesus. It gets better, or worse depending on your perspective. Melissa tried to claim hostile work environment. HR reminded her that sleeping with a married coworker, who's also a supervisor, violates about 12 company policies. She's going to lose her job. Almost certainly. Chris, I need to ask, do you have any joint accounts I should freeze? My blood went cold. The savings, the checking, everything's joint except my business accounts. I'll file emergency motions now. Get to your bank. Take out what you need for the next month, but don't clean them out. Judges hate that. I was already grabbing my keys. On my way. The financial untangling. The bank teller's eyes widened when I explained what I needed. The branch manager, Tom, who'd handled my business accounts for years, took me to his office. I heard about Melissa, he said quietly. Small town. News travels. I need to protect my assets, Tom. Let's see what we're working with. He pulled up our accounts. When was the last time you checked these balances? Maybe 2 months ago? Why? He turned the screen. The savings account that should have had $47,000 had $12,000. Where? I couldn't finish. Steady withdrawals? 1,000 here, 2,000 there, all within limits that don't flag for notification. Can you trace where it went? Transfers to another account at this bank. Registered to Melissa Walker. She has a separate account? For the past 8 months. 8 months. Nathan and Melissa. 8 months of lies. 8 months of another man in my bed while I traveled for business. I need statements. Everything. Chris, there's more. Tom looked uncomfortable. There's a safe deposit box. In her name only. Opened 6 months ago. Can I? Not without a court order. But she's been accessing it regularly. I thought about the jewelry she'd wanted to retrieve. The vintage pieces from my grandmother she'd claimed to love. That's where she's been hiding assets. I can't confirm that, but I can freeze the joint accounts pending legal action. Do it. Emma comes home. Emma arrived at 4 p.m. using her key. She found me in the kitchen staring at bank statements spread across the counter. Dad? I looked up. My daughter, 21 and fierce, stood in the doorway with her overnight bag and the kind of rage I recognized. How much did she take? She asked, reading my face. $35,000 over 8 months. That absolute... She caught herself. Where is she now? No idea, don't care. Liar. She hugged me, and I finally let myself feel it. The betrayal, the rage, the humiliation. You care. That's why this hurts. When did you get so wise? When my mother started sneaking around with married men. She pulled back. This isn't her first affair, Dad. Everything stopped. What? Remember when I was in high school? Her book club that met at weird hours? She was reading contemporary fiction with the neighborhood women. She was screwing Mr. Davidson from 3 houses down. I saw them kissing in his car. Emma, why didn't you? I was 15. I didn't know what to do. And when it ended, I hoped that it was over. Yeah, I'm sorry, Dad. I should have told you. No. I pulled her close again. No, you were a kid. This isn't on you. She helped me box up Melissa's remaining belongings. We worked in silence mostly, occasionally broken by bitter observations. Remember when she said this vase was priceless? Emma held up a blue ceramic piece. She told me Nathan bought it for her in Italy. She said she got that at an estate sale. Yeah, well, she says a lot of things. We found more evidence. Receipts for hotels I'd never stayed at. Lingerie I'd never seen. A credit card I didn't know existed. Dad, this goes back 2 years. At least. How did you not know? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I trusted her. When she said she was at yoga, I believed her. When she had wine with friends, I didn't question it. When she went to conferences for her latest career attempt, I paid for them. You loved her. I loved who I thought she was. The escalation day 3 post-discovery, things got ugly. Melissa had hired an attorney, Bradley Hoffman, known for representing the guilty and making them look like victims. Jim called me at work. She's claiming emotional abuse. Says you threw her out in the middle of the night with nowhere to go. It was 9 p.m., and she had Nathan's house to go to. She's also claiming the house is half hers. Based on what? I owned it before we married. She's never contributed to the mortgage. Based on 23 years of marriage and, quote, maintaining the home while Chris pursued his career. Maintaining the home? She had a housekeeper twice a week. I know, but she's gonna make this messy. She wants alimony, half your business and the house. She can want a unicorn too. Doesn't mean she'll get it. She also wants her belongings, including items she claims are gifts from you. Jewelry, specifically. I thought about the safe deposit box. Set up a retrieval with police supervision this weekend. Chris, she's also claiming you hacked her phone and violated her privacy. I took photos of men's clothing in my own bedroom. If that violates her privacy, she shouldn't have had another man's socks in my laundry. Agreed, but be prepared. This is going to get nastier. The supervised retrieval Saturday morning. 2 police officers stood in my driveway while Melissa and her attorney arrived in a Mercedes that wasn't hers. Nathan's, probably. Bold choice. 2 hours, I told them. She takes only what's hers. Every piece of jewelry gets documented. Mr. Walker, her attorney, Bradley, extended his hand. I didn't take it. This doesn't need to be hostile. Your client brought another man into my bed. We passed hostile at the gold toe socks. Melissa wouldn't make eye contact. She looked smaller somehow, diminished. Designer clothes couldn't hide the dark circles, the trembling hands. I need my grandmother's ring, she said to the officers, not me. The one my grandmother gave me to propose with? That's evidence of marital assets? Next. You spiteful... Ma'am, the female officer interrupted. Let's keep this civil. Emma appeared in the doorway. I made a list of what's hers, with photos, to prevent confusion. Emma, baby, Melissa started toward her. Don't. Emma's voice was ice. You don't get to baby me. Not after what you did. I'm still your mother. Biologically, yes. But mothers don't destroy families for office affairs. Melissa flinched. Bradley whispered something about parental alienation. Emma heard him. Alienation? She laughed. She alienated herself. I'm just observing the consequences. They moved through the house like a funeral procession. Melissa tried to take the good coffee maker. That's mine, I said. Receipts in the file. We used it together for years. We used the bed together for years, too. Didn't stop you from sharing it. She grabbed photos from the mantel, carefully selecting ones without me in them. Took her cookbooks, but left the ones we'd bought together on our honeymoon in France. Every choice felt like another small betrayal. In the bedroom, she went straight for the jewelry box. I watched her realize it was mostly empty. Where's my mother's necklace? The sapphire bracelet? Anything valuable is in the bank. You'll get it during asset division. Those were gifts. Prove it. She turned to Bradley. He's hiding assets. Like you hid $35,000? I showed them the bank statements. Like the secret account? The safe deposit box? Bradley's face changed. Clearly, Melissa hadn't mentioned those details. We should go, he told her. I'm not done. Yes, he said firmly. You are. The workplace fallout Monday brought news through the professional grapevine. Melissa and Nathan had both been terminated for violations of company policy. The official story was restructuring. The real story was that Sarah Ross had threatened a massive sexual harassment lawsuit if they weren't removed. Jim called with updates. Sarah's attorney deposed 3 other employees. Turns out everyone knew about the affair except you and Sarah. People saw them at hotels during lunch, saw his car at your house. And no one said anything. Would you have believed them? He had a point. Even with evidence, I'd initially tried to rationalize it. Those aren't his socks. That's not what it looks like. She wouldn't. But she would. And she did. There's something else, Jim continued. We pulled credit reports. Melissa has cards you don't know about. Significant debt. How significant? $47,000. I sat down. For what? Trips, hotels, restaurants, gifts. Looks like she was maintaining a whole separate life. On my income? Technically, marital income, but yes. Can we prove it was for the affair? Hotel charges match Nathan's travel schedule. Restaurant charges are all for 2. Some purchases are men's items, watches, cufflinks, clothes. She was buying him gifts with our money. It appears so. I thought I'd hit the bottom of this betrayal. Turns out it had sub-basements. The friends divide. You learn who your real friends are during a divorce. Some surprised me with their loyalty. Others disappointed with their neutrality. I don't want to take sides, Marcus said over beer. We'd been friends for 15 years. She cheated. In my house. How are there sides? You don't know what drove her to it. What could possibly drive someone to that? Maybe you weren't meeting her needs. I set down my beer. Get out. Chris, come on. No, get out of my house. If you can justify what she did, we have nothing to discuss. He left. We haven't spoken since. But others stepped up. Bob Peterson from across the street became an unexpected ally. Saw Nathan's car here dozens of times, he told me. Always when you were traveling. I'm sorry I didn't say anything. Figured it wasn't my business. Dozens? At least. Sometimes overnight. You could testify to that? If needed, yes. My business partner, David, was more direct. I never liked her. Thought she was fake. Turns out I was right. You never said anything. You loved her. What was I going to say? Hey, Chris, your wife seems like a gold digger? You'd have ended our partnership. I might have. Exactly. But I'm saying it now, you're better off. And when this is done, we're going to Vegas. Properly. I'm not really in a Vegas mood. You will be. Trust me. The discoveries keep coming. Week 2 brought fresh hell. Emma, helping me clean out the home office, found a folder marked taxes that wasn't about taxes. Dad? Her voice was strange. Inside were printed emails. Melissa and Nathan, going back 18 months, before I'd even known they were working together closely. Don't read those, I told Emma. Too late. She looked sick. She called you things, mocked you. To him. I took the folder. Scanned enough to confirm what Emma had seen. Melissa describing our intimate life, laughing about my trusting nature, calling me her meal ticket while she waited for Nathan to leave his wife. One email stood out. He actually thinks I'm at a yoga retreat. I'm typing this from Nathan's bed. God, he's gullible. The date? My birthday weekend. When she'd said she couldn't cancel the retreat she'd already paid for. I'm going to be sick, Emma said. Go, I'll handle this. She fled. I photographed every page. These weren't just evidence of an affair. They were evidence of cruel intent, of fraud, essentially. Jim was ecstatic when I sent them over. This changes everything. She can't claim emotional abuse when she's documenting her own deception and mockery. Can we use them in court? They were in your house, in your office. Yes. Good. Chris, some of these are brutal. Are you okay? Was I? I'd been running on rage and adrenaline for 2 weeks. I will be, once this is over. We should push for a quick settlement. This evidence is damning. No. No? I want a trial. I want it on record. Every lie, every theft, every cruel word. That's expensive and painful. I don't care about expensive, and I'm already in pain. Might as well make it worth something. Nathan's wife reaches out. Sarah Ross called me on a Tuesday evening. I almost didn't answer. Chris, it's Sarah. Please don't hang up. Sarah, how are you holding up? A bitter laugh. How do you think? My husband was screwing your wife in my bed too. Found blonde hair on my pillows. I have black hair. Jesus. Yeah. Listen, I'm calling because my lawyer says we should coordinate, share evidence, compare notes. Makes sense. Can you meet for coffee? Somewhere public. I promise I'm not going to cry on your shoulder. This is business. We met at a Starbucks downtown. Sarah looked like I felt exhausted but determined. She'd brought a binder. I hired a PI, she said without preamble. 2 weeks before you found the socks. You suspected? He was distant, working late, new cologne, cliché stuff. I wanted to be wrong. What did the PI find? She slid photos across the table. Melissa and Nathan at hotels, kissing in parking lots, entering my house time-stamped when I went out of town. There's more. They have a joint credit card. What? Opened a year ago, in both their names. He paid the bills, but they both used it. Hotels, dinners, trips. Trips? That conference in San Diego Melissa went to last fall? She was there, with my husband, on his company's dime. Claimed he needed an assistant. I remembered that trip. Melissa had called every night, telling me about boring seminars and bad conference food. All lies. I want them to pay, Sarah said quietly. Not just financially. I want everyone to know what they did. Careful, that could backfire. I don't care. Nathan works in reputation management. Ironic, right? Let's see how he manages this. She was angrier than me, or maybe just less numb. I'm filing for alienation of affection, she continued, against Melissa. That's still a thing? In 7 states, including ours. My lawyer says with this evidence, I could win significant damages. From Melissa, she's broke. She won't be after your divorce. Whatever she gets from you, I'm taking half. It was vicious, and I respected it. There's something else. Sarah pulled out her phone. Nathan's been texting me, begging. Listen to this. She played a voicemail. Nathan's voice slurred with alcohol or tears. Sarah, please. It meant nothing. She seduced me, came after me. I was weak, but I love you. Please let me come home. The kids need me. You need me. I'll do anything. Pathetic, I said. Right? But useful. He's throwing Melissa under the bus. She seduced me. She pursued me. Makes our cases stronger. Has Melissa tried contacting you? Once. Sent me a Facebook message saying I should be more understanding. That marriages are complicated. You're kidding. Nope. I screenshotted it. My lawyer loves it. Shows zero remorse. We spent an hour comparing evidence, building timelines. The affair was more extensive than either of us had imagined. They'd been sloppy, arrogant, leaving trails everywhere. You know what pisses me off most? Sarah asked as we prepared to leave. What? They made us allies. I don't know you, Chris. But now we're forever connected by their selfishness. My kids will grow up knowing their dad destroyed 2 families. Your daughter will never trust the same way again. And for what? Mediocre sex and ego boosts? She was right. Melissa and Nathan had created a web of pain that extended far beyond our marriages. The legal meat grinder, week 3. Depositions began. I sat across from Melissa and her attorney while a court reporter typed every word. State your name for the record. Melissa Ann Walker. She wore a conservative suit I'd never seen. Playing the wronged wife. Her attorney had coached her well. Mrs. Walker, how long were you involved with Nathan Ross? I refuse to answer on the grounds that it may incriminate me. Jim leaned forward. This isn't a criminal proceeding. Answer the question. Bradley whispered in her ear. Approximately 6 months. I have hotel receipts going back 18 months. Would you like to revise your answer? We were friends first. Friends who shared hotel rooms? Occasionally. Jim slid a photo across the table. This is from the San Diego Marriott 13 months ago. You're kissing Mr. Ross. Were you friends or lovers? I don't recall. You don't recall kissing a married man? It went on for 6 hours. Every lie she told, Jim had evidence to contradict. Bank statements, photos, her own emails. By the end, even Bradley looked defeated. My deposition was shorter but harder, having to detail the discovery, the betrayal, the financial deception. Melissa cried through most of it. I couldn't tell if it was genuine or performance. Mr. Walker, what did you do when you found the socks? I asked my wife whose they were, and her response. She lied, said they were mine. How did you know she was lying? They were 3 sizes too big, wrong brand, and her face went white when she saw them. What happened next? I detailed it all, the search, the evidence, the eviction. Bradley tried to make me sound unreasonable. You changed the locks within hours? Yes. Throughout your wife of 23 years? I removed a woman who'd been bringing another man into my bed. Where was she supposed to go? To any of the hotels she'd been frequenting with Mr. Ross. I assumed she knew how to check in. Even the court reporter cracked a smile at that. Emma's testimony. The worst part was Emma's deposition. Bradley tried to go after her, suggesting I'd turned her against her mother. Miss Walker, has your father spoken negatively about your mother? He didn't have to. Her actions spoke for themselves. But surely he's expressed anger. My mother had an affair. In my childhood home. With a married man whose kids I know. My father didn't turn me against her. She did that herself. When did you first suspect the affair? Emma glanced at me. When I was 15, I saw her with another man. Mr. Davidson, our neighbor. The room went silent. This was news to Bradley. And to Melissa, whose face showed genuine shock that Emma knew. You saw your mother with another man when you were 15? Kissing him, in his car, in our driveway. Did you tell your father? No, I was a kid. I hoped it would stop. So your mother has a history. Objection, Jim interrupted. Counsel is testifying. Withdrawn. Miss Walker, do you believe your mother loves your father? Emma stared at Melissa for a long moment. I believe my mother loves what my father provided. Stability, money, a nice house. But love him? No. You don't treat people you love like this. Melissa broke down then. Real tears, I think. Emma didn't flinch. She made her choices, Emma said quietly. Now we all live with them. The money trail week 4 brought forensic accountants. The secret spending was worse than we'd thought. Mrs. Walker opened 5 credit cards without Mr. Walker's knowledge, the accountant testified. Total debt, $67,000. 67? I whispered to Jim. You said 47. She opened another one last month, after you kicked her out. How? Used your social. Fraud charges have been filed. The accountant continued. There's also evidence of cash withdrawals totaling $89,000 over 2 years. Small amounts to avoid detection. Where did it go? Impossible to trace cash, but withdrawal dates correlate with Mr. Ross's travel schedule and large purchases he made. She was funding her boyfriend, Jim summarized. It appears so. Bradley objected. Speculation. Based on documented patterns, the judge noted, I'll allow it. The numbers kept climbing. Hidden accounts, forged signatures, sold jewelry I'd given her, keeping the money. My grandmother's ring, the one she'd wanted during the house retrieval, had been sold 11 months ago. She sold my grandmother's ring? For $12,000. The pawn shop has records. I thought nothing could surprise me anymore. Wrong again. The unraveling Melissa's life imploded spectacularly. Without my income or Nathan's help, Sarah had filed a restraining order. She was broke within a month. The Mercedes disappeared. The designer clothes got sold online. She moved from hotels to a studio apartment in Gresham. Nathan fared no better. Fired, divorced, paying massive alimony and child support, he fled to his brother's house in California. Last I heard, he was selling insurance. But Melissa wasn't done destroying things. She started a blog, The Other Side of Divorce. Tried to paint herself as a victim of emotional neglect who found love and was punished for it. Jim sent me the link. Don't read it. I read it. According to Melissa, I was cold, distant, obsessed with work. She was lonely, abandoned, desperate for affection. Nathan was her soulmate who understood her in ways I never could. The affair was destiny. The divorce was my cruelty. She never mentioned the stolen money, the lies, the mockery in her emails, the other affairs. Can we sue for defamation? We could, but why bother? Look at the comments. I scrolled down. Hundreds of comments, mostly from people who knew us. Coworkers, neighbors, friends. They weren't buying her victim narrative. "Everyone knows the truth," one comment read. "You brought Nathan to your daughter's graduation party while sleeping with him. That's not love. That's cruelty." Another. "I worked with both of you. Everyone knew about the affair except your husband. We felt sorry for him. You're no victim." The blog lasted 2 weeks before she took it down. Trial 6 months after finding the socks, we went to trial. Melissa had refused all settlement offers, convinced she could win half of everything. She couldn't. The judge, a woman named Harriet Chen who'd been married 40 years, listened to the evidence with increasingly visible disgust. "Mrs. Walker," she said during Melissa's testimony, "you claim you deserve alimony. On what grounds?" "I supported Chris's career, maintained our home, raised our daughter." "While conducting multiple affairs?" "That's not..." "Yes or no? Were you faithful during your marriage?" "Marriages are complicated." "Yes or no?" "No." "Were you truthful about your whereabouts?" "Not always." "Did you take money without your husband's knowledge?" "I took what I was entitled to." Judge Chen's expression could have frozen fire. "You took $89,000 without disclosure. You opened credit cards fraudulently. You sold gifts given by his family. What exactly entitles you to more?" The trial took 3 days. The judgment took Judge Chen 20 minutes to deliver. Divorce granted on grounds of adultery. The premarital home remains Mr. Walker's sole property. No alimony will be awarded. Mrs. Walker will receive $20,000, the documented value of her premarital assets adjusted for inflation. She is responsible for all debts incurred in her name, including fraudulent accounts. "Your Honor," Bradley stood, "this leaves my client with nothing." "Your client left herself with nothing," Judge Chen replied. "She had a loving husband, a beautiful home, a supportive family. She traded it for hotel rooms and another woman's husband. The court sees no reason to reward such choices." Sarah's victory. Sarah Ross's alienation of affection suit was even more devastating. She documented everything: the effect on her children, her therapy bills, the destruction of her family. Melissa was ordered to pay $150,000 in damages. "I don't have it," Melissa told the court. "Then wages will be garnished, assets seized, tax refunds redirected. Mrs. Ross deserves compensation for what you stole." "I didn't steal anything." "You stole her husband's affection, her children's stable home, her peace of mind. The law recognizes these as real losses." Sarah called me after. "It's not about the money. I'll never see most of it. It's about the acknowledgement. Legal recognition that what she did was wrong." "Feel better?" "No, but it's something." The aftermath. A year later, life had found new rhythms. The house felt different, lighter somehow. I'd renovated the bedroom completely, knew everything. Emma helped choose paint colors. "No beige," she insisted. That was Mom's depression color. We went with deep blue. It felt like sleeping in the ocean. David had been right about Vegas. We went 6 months after the divorce. I didn't gamble much, but I did stand in front of the Bellagio fountains and let myself feel free. Emma graduated summa cum laude. Melissa wasn't invited. She sent a card anyway. Emma threw it away unopened. "Should I feel guilty?" Emma asked. "For protecting yourself?" "Never." I started dating eventually, cautiously. A teacher named Rebecca who made me laugh and had opinions about everything. She knew my story. Everyone in Portland seemed to. "Doesn't it bother you?" I asked early on. Dating the guy with the messy divorce? Everyone has baggage, she said. Yours just made the papers. She was right. The Oregonian had run a piece on alienation of affection suits featuring Sarah's case. Melissa's name was prominently mentioned. The socks, I kept them. The gold toe socks. Not out of sentiment or pain, but as a reminder. They sat in my office drawer, still in the evidence bag from the lawyer. Emma found them once while looking for stamps. Dad, why? To remember that small things matter, that paying attention matters, that trusting your gut matters. That's morbid. Maybe, but I'll never ignore red flags again. She understood. We both would. 2 years later, the call came on a Tuesday. Unknown number, but local. Chris, it's Melissa. I almost hung up. What do you want? I wanted to apologize. No. Please, I'm in therapy now. Part of recovery is making amends. Good for you. Make them to someone else. Chris, you stole from me, mocked me, betrayed me, brought men into our bed, sold my grandmother's ring. You want to make amends? Leave me alone forever. I loved you. No, you loved my stability, my income, my trust. But me? No. People don't treat people they love like that. I hung up, blocked the number, felt nothing. That night, Rebecca and I made dinner together. She'd moved in 6 months ago, slowly, carefully. No rushing, no assumptions. Melissa called, I told her. Oh? She kept chopping vegetables, but I saw the tension. Wanted to apologize, part of therapy. What did you say? That she should leave me alone forever. Rebecca smiled. Good. Her apologies aren't for you. They're for her. Exactly. Besides, she hip-checked me playfully, I'm the only woman allowed to leave things in your laundry now. Just keep them size appropriate. Deal. We laughed. It felt good to laugh about it. To have it be just another story, not a defining tragedy. Emma joined us for dinner. She was in law school now, inspired by Jim's handling of the divorce. I want to help people like Dad, she'd said. People who get blindsided by betrayal. You'll be great at it, Rebecca told her. You've got the perfect balance of empathy and steel. Learned from the best. Emma raised her glass to me. To surviving. To thriving, I corrected. We clinked glasses. Outside, Portland drizzled its eternal rain. Inside, my house, truly mine now, felt warm and safe and honest. The final lesson. Last month, I gave a talk at my company's leadership conference. The topic was supposed to be about business resilience, but it became more. The biggest threats often come from inside, I told the audience. From the people we trust most. The signs are usually there, small inconsistencies, behavioral changes, things that don't quite add up. We ignore them because the alternative is too painful to consider. But pain delayed is pain compounded. When you find the socks, whatever your socks are, don't rationalize. Don't wait. Don't hope it will get better. Act immediately and decisively. Some will call you harsh, unforgiving. Let them. They haven't worn your shoes or washed your sheets or found another man's watch in their nightstand. Protect yourself first, always, because the person you trust most might be the one stealing from you, mocking you, betraying you while you sleep. And if you're very lucky, they'll be careless enough to leave their socks in your dryer. The audience was silent. Then someone started clapping. Then everyone. Afterwards, a young manager approached me. My wife's been acting strange, working late, new passwords on her phone. I've been telling myself I'm paranoid. Check the laundry, I told him. Check the credit cards. Check your gut. And whatever you find, handle it immediately. He nodded and left. I hoped I was wrong, but I knew I wasn't. Because here's what I learned from those gold-toe socks. Betrayal is lazy. It leaves evidence everywhere. We just have to be willing to see it. And when we do, we have to be willing to change the locks before the spin cycle ends. That's not cruel. That's survival. And on the other side, life. Different than you planned, maybe, but honest, clean, yours. Like a load of laundry with only your own socks.